I think it's finally time that I share my positive C-section experience with the internet. I had my son on August 27, 2024, and I had a scheduled C-section. And I know that that's very different from having an emergency C-section and, things like that. But I just want to share that it was overall a positive experience. Maybe this will help you if you are also going to have a C-section and you're a little bit nervous about it, because I too was pretty nervous and didn't really know what to expect. But now that I've been through it and I've survived and I am almost 3 months postpartum, I thought it'd be a good time to share with you guys. The couple days leading before my surgery were really strange just because I wasn't going into labor or anything, and I had my son exactly 1 day before his due date. The most that I was feeling right before having my cesarean was Braxton Hicks, and it's just those like cramps that are like fake contractions, and they were nothing super crazy, but I was so uncomfortable and I was so ready to have him, and I had made it to almost exactly 40 weeks. I just want to kind of walk everyone through how it went for me. And I know that your experience could be different depending on your hospital and your provider and all that. This is just my experience, and it was a pretty positive one. I had mentally prepared for this scheduled surgery. I had read other people's experiences online and on Reddit, and that was really helpful. I was more dreading recovery, but I'll talk about that more towards the end. The morning of, I had to wake up super early. I think I woke up at 4:30 because my surgery was scheduled for 7:30, I think, and it ended up being at 8 o'clock because somebody had a emergency C-section before me, so my doctor had to deliver that baby before my son. We're just driving down the road to the hospital because I live like 10 minutes away, and it was the most surreal thing because it's very quiet, obviously, at like 5 in the morning. The prep that happens before your surgery is pretty intense. Honestly, that part was just the most, I don't know, there were just so many steps that you have to go through. So we got to the hospital, you have to wait, you check in, and that part is pretty boring. But yeah, you're just kind of waiting. You're just waiting to have like a major surgery, which is insane. But it was really calm, at least. Like pretty much all the prep before the surgery was very calm. And my nurses were great. They, of course, walk you through everything. And like I said, they just check you in. They ask you a bunch of questions. They, start hooking you up to like IVs, so like fluids and things like that. And I don't know if it's like this with every surgery or C-section, but I couldn't eat past midnight the night before. So I was starving. I literally felt like I was so sick to my stomach and like I was gonna pass out. But thankfully, by the time I got hooked up and they're, pushing fluids through, you feel a lot better. I was starting to just relax a bit more. And I'm pretty sure I also felt really sick because it was really hitting me like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have my son today. They got all the IV and I had to get it in my hand. It hurt so bad, and I still have a scar. That honestly was like the worst part, was the freaking IV in my hand. And then since I was having a C-section, they do have to shave you down there a little bit because that's where your incision is gonna be. If you hear a baby yelling in the background, it's my son, and he's with my mother-in-law. He's great. He's just a little fussy. Yeah, that was so humbling of an experience for me, just getting, prepped down there, because the nurse who was doing that for me, I knew her, and I kind of grew up with her, and she was a bit younger than me. That was so funny. But when you're about to deliver your baby, who cares? It's not a big deal, and you just everything just goes out the window. You don't really care, and the whole experience was so humbling. After that, I remember having to change into a gown, and it's the gown with the back being open, so you're kind of walking to the OR, and that's another really funny experience, just walking down the hallway, and you have the grippy socks on, and you're just almost ready to go. That was insane, realizing I'm walking to the OR and I'm about to have my son. And all those moments and hours leading up to it just felt like a bit of a blur, and it's terrifying, but it's also a feeling that I have a hard time describing because you almost don't want to go through with it, but at the same time, you have to do it because that's how you're delivering your baby. So once I got to the OR, it was pretty quick. Everything happened really, really fast. I felt extremely lucky because my brother is a CRNA and he was able to be with me in the operating room. That won't be everybody's experience, but I felt extra lucky there and very taken care of because he was able to hold me while I was getting my epidural spinal block thing. That was another uncomfortable bit, but I'm sure you can Google if you want to know more because I'm not a professional. But it was not very painful. It was just very uncomfortable because I didn't see it. I didn't see what was happening, but it's just uncomfortable because you have to be very hunched over. And once the I think the catheter is in your spine, everything goes really fast, and the medicine, once it's in, you are numb so fast. So once that is working, you just start to feel warm and tingly. Everybody had to help me lay back down on the table, and your arms are going to be like this. It's once again just a weird you don't have control of your body and you're basically numb from your chest down. That was another strange sensation. You just kind of feel the nerves start to hit you. And I remember being on my back and having the curtain go up, and my brother's okay, I'm gonna leave now, and my husband changed places with him. Finally, Darren is with me. I just remember seeing him all scrubbed up, and I'm pretty sure he was wearing a mask. The nerves started to hit me and I really started to get shaky, and I think that's more of the medicine, but also your hormones and probably just a crap ton of adrenaline, because I realized this is really happening now. I can't feel anything. So then my doctor came in. I was really close with my doctor. I loved him so much. He just made everything feel a lot lighter and more positive. And even though you're incredibly nervous and a little bit scared, having people around you that are talking to you constantly and informing you about what's going on, that is so helpful. So please advocate for yourself and just ask a lot of questions if they're not filling you in, because you have every right to know what's going on during the whole process. So I was super shaky. My CRNA, she was so sweet. She was telling me, stick your tongue out and that'll help with your teeth chattering. And she was just giving me a lot of helpful tips about my shakiness and reassuring me that everything is totally normal and it's normal to feel that way. My doctor started to poke, I think, my belly, and he's like, can you feel this? And I told him absolutely not, because I really couldn't feel anything, which was so strange. And I almost had a panic attack because I tried to move my feet. You can't move anything. That's how numb you are. You feel a massive dead weight. It's kind of a cool feeling, but also it is a little scary, but that's normal. Obviously you want to be completely numb. And so the surgery just started. They didn't even tell me. They're just can you feel this? And I'm like, no. That's when it all begins. I don't remember anything from the surgery besides my husband being next to me, my CRNA walking me through the whole thing, telling me, okay, they're getting closer to your uterus. You're going to feel pressure at certain times. Overall, getting my son Rowan out of me probably took, it felt 5 minutes. It was so freaking fast. The one feeling that I remember that felt just so crazy and slightly magical was my CRNA telling me, okay, you're gonna feel a lot of pressure. I just felt so much weight leave my body, and I knew that it was Rowan being physically pulled out of me. They held him up and he cried immediately. It was just such relief, just seeing your baby, and it was so fast, and I just felt wow, we did it. He's finally here. Overall, it was such a positive experience. It was amazing. And the only thing that did make me kind of sad was that I wasn't able to have him on my chest immediately. And I know that that's a really big moment, but afterwards, once he's clean and everything, my husband was able to hold him first, which I actually really thought was very sweet. They put his face right next to me. I just remember crying and whoa, I get choked up now just thinking about it. It was such a crazy moment, and I don't remember anything else about it. I don't remember music playing. I don't remember the people talking. I just remember having my son's face right up against mine, and it was just such a sweet moment. Overall, that's why I really think it was a super positive experience for me, just because I was safe. My husband and my son were safe, and everyone was just together, and it was really, really precious. Even though it's not what I planned, I really wanted to have an unmedicated natural labor birth, but that's just not what happened. So I ended up having a positive experience with my scheduled C-section. And then afterwards, after an hour of recovery, I was able to hold Rowan the whole time I was in that recovery. We tried breastfeeding. Things just felt really chill, surprisingly. I was still so numb, and I was probably numb for like a couple hours later. And then once I started to like get feeling back, I was able to stand up, and that kind of brings me into the recovery portion of the C-section. It was hard. It was very, very hard. Everything obviously is so painful, and you can only feel so much really though, because you're still so numb from all the medication and the anesthesia. Once the meds start to wear off, like you will feel like a lot of sharp pain, and it is pretty painful. But I figured like I have to feel some pain, you know, throughout this whole experience. It's childbirth, and the weeks after his delivery, they were getting like easier and easier, and I wanted to not really take a lot of medication, so I was kind of raw dogging it, and it was a lot of just slow movements. And walking is so important though. You don't want to get like stagnant, obviously. So I would like walk around the hospital, or at least the floor that I was on when I could. I would get up. I took a shower the next day after delivering him. It is painful, but it is so doable. Just mentally having the support you need is really important too. My husband was so helpful. I couldn't have done it without him at all, because he's the one who was changing all the diapers and really helping me with Rowan so much. The first 3 days, you know, you're in the hospital recovering, you're trying to breastfeed, trying to just get the hang of everything, and it is such crazy whiplash, like 0 to 100 so fast. Yeah, I don't want people to be terrified of having C-sections. I know a lot of times it doesn't go as planned, and there can be a lot of complications, but overall I had a really positive experience, and now that I'm 3 months out, I would do it all over again if I had to, and I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way. I will probably never have a normal delivery. That's okay, because now I've been through it, and it's okay, and all that matters is that your child is safe and that you are safe. This is a safe space. If you had a C-section, please comment below, and I hope my story was informative. I feel a little bit all over the place. I still have like such mommy brain, and I don't know. I'm still adjusting to life with our son, and it's been really great though. Every day is getting a little bit easier, and now I feel pretty much back to normal, at least with my incision area. I can feel things. I'm not numb. My scar is getting lighter. There's times where I just forget that I had a C-section. Like you bounce back like pretty quickly. It's cool. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed my story, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I'll try to get to them. And I love you all for watching this. Thanks for bearing with me, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.